guys ready to go. We're talking about the Lakers, who start their ceremonial second half of the season tonight with a lot of questions. They have really struggled. They've had injury problems and more. They're currently 9th in the Western Conference. Now, here's how it begins. They get 3 straight home games, and that starts tonight here on ESPN. We'll have them against the Clippers in the second game of our doubleheader. They're currently 6.5 games behind the 6-seed Nuggets. So LeBron and company have a bunch of work to do if they want to avoid the play-in tournament. As I bring Big Perk and Zach Lowe back in here, and Zach will get your trivia answer in a moment. But let's start with the Lakers. The question is this, pretty simply, Big Perk. LeBron is your guy. I know how much you would love and admire him, and he has been playing great. What can he realistically do? What can LeBron carry this Laker team to the rest of this season and into the playoffs?
A first-round exit. Greeny, look, we saw during All-Star Weekend LeBron James smiling and playing with such joy, happy to be back in Cleveland. We haven't saw him smile that much since the Space Jam movie. And the fact of the matter is this. LeBron James knows that this team is not really good. He knows that with the way that the Western Conference is, for us, those top 3 or 4 teams that are in the West, AD being out, LeBron knows that they're not going anywhere. He's a guy that is all about facts and the truth. So the fact of the matter is he's going to finish up strong. The only bright spot about the Lakers is that he probably passed up Kareem this season for the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. That's the only thing good coming from the Lakers.
You know, and let's, Zach, just very quickly, for the fans who maybe have been sort of knee-deep in football and are now starting to really pay more attention. The Lakers began this season as the favorites to win the Western Conference. And the highest profile thing that has gone wrong, well, I guess the two are that Anthony Davis has been hurt, which he generally tends to be, and that the Russell Westbrook experiment, if you will, just has not worked. How would you describe why things have gone so badly for a Laker team that began the season with great promise?
The Russ fit has been a disaster on both ends of the floor, and this team won a title and made its bones on defense, on playing big and playing great defense, and gradually through trade after trade, through free agent defection or decision with Alex Caruso after decision, they lost a lot of their 3-and-D identity. They lost a lot of their defensive toughness. It's just been a perfect storm of lots of different stuff going against this team. Look, if you have LeBron and AD healthy and you're in the playoffs and you can put some shooting around them and they have some shooting, Malik Monk has been the 3rd best player on the team, you're still scary. But I agree with Perk. If everything goes right for this team, and by the way, Anthony Davis is out for a while now, I just don't see anything better than a first-round exit for them.
Yeah, I mean, you made the point earlier today, playing themselves out of the play-in tournament seems next to impossible considering how much room they'd have to make up. So even if they get out of the play-in, you're staring at either Phoenix or Golden State in that first round of the playoffs, and it's next to impossible to imagine them winning a series there. Let me go back to the East. We opened this hour with you two guys talking about the Brooklyn Nets. They were one of the 2 teams involved in the blockbuster trade a couple of weeks ago, one of the biggest trades we've seen in any sport in a really long time. So, Big Perk, the Sixers tell us that we will see James Harden tonight for the first time on the floor with Joel Embiid. What are the Sixers now that they have these 2 stars in the Eastern Conference?
Well, they're my favorite to win the Eastern Conference. Look, Greeny, when you put 2 guys, 2 MVP caliber players together, a guard and a big, the way that these guys are capable of getting buckets, and both of these guys are capable of drawing fouls and getting to the free throw line, it's almost impossible to stop them. And imagine putting these 2 in a high pick and roll, whether Embiid is rolling to the basket. James Harden put so much pressure on the defense, those contested looks that Embiid was getting throughout the course of this season, they're going to be uncontested. Those contested jump shot mid-post areas, they're going to be uncontested too. So at the end of the day, James Harden has shown us that he's not afraid to transition or change his game from being a scorer to a facilitator. And he can show us, he showed us time and time again that he's capable of being the best point guard in the NBA. He showed us that last year.
And Embiid right now might be the favorite to win the MVP, or if the season ended this minute, he probably would win the MVP. So he's been playing that well. Zach, how about the fit I love talking to you about things like this in longer form on the radio and stuff like that. It's a fascinating little experiment they've got going there. What is your prediction for the fit between those two stars?
I think it'll be fine. Look, there are going to be some hiccups to iron out. Like, Embiid is not a rim-running, lob-catching center, the kind that Harden has really thrived with and preferred to play with. What is James Harden going to be doing when Embiid, the best post player in the NBA, has all those post-ups? Is he going to just stand around? Is he going to be an active part of the offense? We can focus on all that stuff, but the fact remains these are two supernova talents on offense who should make each other better, even if it's not seamless. The offense is going to be fine. Like Perk said, they're going to live at the foul. You're going to have to watch Sixers games. You're going to have to record them and fast forward through the free throws. There's going to be too many free throws. Defensively, I think there'll be some issues with, does Harden still get to switch? Embiid's not a switch guy. But the bottom line is the talent is the talent. They're going to be awesome.
Okay, one more piece of business for you guys, and I am making a decision. I'm just making a unilateral decision that because I like seeing Hembo be disappointed. Not only Zach, but Big Perk, you also can take a crack at the trivia question here. But Zach, I will start with you. Who is the last player in the NBA to win a scoring title and the NBA championship in the same season? Zach, you're first.
I have a bad feeling about this. I have a bad feeling. At first I thought Steph Curry, but I actually don't think they won it when he's won the scoring title. Then LeBron has not won many scoring titles, like one or two. Kobe won his when the Lakers were mediocre. Is it possible that I'm actually going to guess all the way back to Michael Jordan? MJ, that's my guess.
Okay, I'd like to guess before we reveal the answer. Big Perk, how about you?
I'm going with Zach on that one. I think it's Michael Jordan for sure.
There is one more recent one, Zach, that we missed, and that was Shaquille O'Neal in 2000.
Wow!
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.